Hello everyone, it's Galina and I'm so excited to share with you today a lot of card making techniques. I'm curious, can you count all the techniques I used? Write your suggestions in the comments. For this card, I will use one small stamp set called Potted Plants and one die set called Fancy Scallop Circle Dice. Also, I will use this beautiful detailed stencil and blending brushes. I will start by creating a card background for my card. I cut the panel from a white smooth paper. I covered the panel with a stencil. I taped the stencil in several places to the paper to avoid any movement of the paper. I'm going to apply ink through a stencil with a blending brush. Using this tool, it's easiest way to apply ink. I'm using a couple green Distress inks on this background. A list of all the colors and supplies you can find in the description under the video or in the blog post. In fact, you can use only one dark green color. I'm applying ink on the edges of the panel, leaving a lighter spot in the center. On the backgrounds of my cards, I like to mix several different colors at once, just to add more interest to my projects. After my ink blending is done, I cut out a frame with Fancy Circle Scallop die set. I used the thick gold glitter cardstock for this frame, and on this cardstock the pierced part will not be visible at all, but anyway die cut looks amazing. Using a smallest die from the same die set, I cut out two half circle parts. The solid die cut I run again in my die cutting machine with the pierced die. It will be the future base for the pot. I'm adding a bit of brown ink on the die cut to get more realistic look of the pot. You can cut out this piece directly from the brown cardstock if you want. I color the white frame with a dark brown marker. For me it's faster than looking for the right shade of brown cardstock. And I'm adding shine on it with a shimmer pen. To finish decorating the pot, I picked a matching thread. I used cotton thread from a local craft store. It doesn't really matter what kind of thread to use, but I personally prefer using cross-stitching thread. Now it's time to start cross-stitching on the die cut. I do both lines the first cross to secure the thread. Next I do whole row of half stitches and then come back doing a half stitches again. This way of stitching gives nicer looking crosses and looks very neat. I do all the rows on pot in the same manner. And now I move to the plants, which I will plant in a beautiful new pot. I put a couple of stamps in the stamping tool and I'm applying black hybrid ink on them. I stamp several times to get a clear, crisp image. I do not pay attention to the bottom of the images because I will not use these small pots. And I stamp it on a white smooth marker paper. For coloring plants, I choose several different shades of green markers as well as yellow and pink for flowers. I start coloring from the darkest shade, I put it where the shadow should be, then I'm adding lighter shades. On each plant I try to combine different shades of green. But it's not necessary, you can color the plants using only two markers, light and dark green. Just create a contrast on the plants. After I done my coloring, I cut out plants with the coordinating dies, and with scissors I cut the bottom of each plant. I planted all the plants in a pot and now I am adhering them with double-sided sticky tape and foam pads. Since I am adhering the plants on the vellum, I can't use liquid glue, otherwise it will lead paper in waves. Now the composition of the card is ready, and I know where I can place the sentiment. It's best to stamp on vellum with a permanent ink and then allow ink to dry for a while to avoid mess on the card. Now my card is ready. I like that it combines so many techniques, this makes it even more special. You can find all the photos and descriptions on Studio Katya's blog. All the links and materials are listed in the video description below. If you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe and click thumbs up. Bye, see you soon!